Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in today. My name is Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. I am coming to you live from Bowditch Field in Framingham, Massachusetts. Here to bring you live coverage of today's varsity high school baseball contest between the hosting Framingham High School Flyers and the visiting Brookline High Warriors. Brookline and Framingham faced off earlier this season in Brookline. The Warriors came out with the win on their home field by a final score of 7-5. 1 second. Come on. Oh, okay. So, nope, I had it. Hold on. Come on. Come on. Almost. Okay. We're having a little bit of trouble with my mic today. What is... Okay, it appears that the high gusts are somehow affecting my mic, so hopefully this problem settles down as we go. But like I was saying, Brookline got the win in Brookline against Framingham earlier this season, and they are in desperate need of another win. They have lost 6 straight. Their record are 5 straight, I believe it is. Their record currently stands at 3-9 on the season, if I have that correct. And they can't afford too many more losses on the year at this point, as if they pass, if they get to 11 losses or more, they will be eliminated from the playoffs. So a big game coming up for Brookline today. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan here at Bowditch Field, and you are watching Brookline High Baseball.
Jernigan launches this one deep to left. Left fielder on his horse, looking back, it's off the wall! Runner immediately taking off, hard hit right at first! Polgreen's got the double play. First pitch gets away from the catcher, Hart's taking off, he's coming in, dives in! Brookline has the lead!
Okay, we are about to get this top of the first inning underway. Brookline will be coming up first. Starting lineup for Brookline today, leading off the shortstop, number 5, Keenan Sawada, batting second, the second baseman, number 2, Owen Hoffman, batting third, the pitcher, number 23, Elias Brendel, batting cleanup, the third baseman, number 17, Charlie Engelman. Batting fifth, the first baseman, number 12, Connor Jernigan. Batting sixth, the left fielder, number 3, Ryan Kravitz. Batting seventh, the catcher, number 14, Avery Melton. Batting eighth, the right fielder, number 9, Nico Hart. And batting ninth, the center fielder, number 20, Harrison Siegel. Head coach of the Brookline High baseball team is Brendan O'Connor. So the top of the Brookline order getting ready to face off against the Framingham starting pitcher, number 1, Jeremy Oren. Like I said, Brookline got the win against Framingham in their third game of the season by a 7-5 final. That win at the time improved Brookline to 2-1. It was the First time for any of these Brookline players in their varsity careers to be holding a winning record after some rough starts to each of the last 2 seasons. But since then, things have gone a little south for Brookline, and they currently stand at 3-9. But here, they're looking for better results here, starting with their leadoff hitter, the shortstop, number 5, Keenan Sawada. Sawada last time against Framingham, he finished 0 for 3 with a walk, a steal, and a run scored. First pitch of the game comes in high, ball 1. As you can see from the stats on the bottom of your screen, Keenan Sawada leads the team in hits, walks, steals, and runs scored. So far this season, he's been a very consistent performer at the top of the order for Brookline. As he fouls this one off for strike 1. 10 for 37 with 10 walks, 5 steals, 8 runs scored, and 4 RBI. As Sawada has really taken a step forward offensively this season. That one's coming in outside for ball 2. Pitching for Framingham last time, it was Michael Chagnon who got the start. Now it is Jeremy Oren starting for the Flyers, as that one misses for ball 3. So a 3-1 hitters count here to Sawada. And that pitch is going to miss for ball 4. So the team leader in walks does what he does best, and Sawada gets a free pass down to first. And so with a leadoff runner on, up comes the second baseman, number 2, Owen Hoffman. Hoffman coming off a very productive game against Boston Latin Academy last Friday as he shows bunt and whiffs. Might have tipped that one, strike 1. In fact, I know he tipped that one because that went away from the catcher, but Sawada didn't take off. But like I said, Sawada very productive Hoffman very productive last Friday against Boston Latin Academy as he went, I believe, 1 for 3 with 2 runs scored and 2 RBI. In what was a heartbreaking loss for Brookline, 10-9 to the Dragons. This pitch comes in high for ball 1. On the season so far, Hoffman 5 for 24, 6 walks, 1 hit by pitch, 4 runs scored, and 3 RBI. This one comes in low. Hoffman, pretty successful story for the Brookline team this year. Before the season started, was not on the varsity roster, was kind of an emergency JV call-up when they ran out of shortstops, and he's been sort of a super utility guy for the team ever since as he takes strike 2 there. As Hoffman's played a number of different positions, he's played shortstop, second base, right field, and even pitched a couple times. Reaches out and bloops that one. It's going to stay in the infield, and the second baseman's going to snag it for out number 1. You can hear the wind gusting out here in Framingham. It is a lovely day for baseball, but still a little windy, so the weather could still have a noticeable impact. Coming up to the plate now with 1 out and a runner on, the pitcher, number 23, Elias Brendel. Pickoff attempt, and Sawada dives back safely. They know Sawada a threat on the base paths, so they're checking on him, keeping him honest. Sawada does take off, pitches in for a strike. Sawada down to second, and the throw is wide. Sawada comes in safe. So the count will be 0-1 to Brendel, but Brookline's now got a runner in scoring position. This pitch comes in the dirt. It's well blocked by the catcher, Lucas Messer. Oren checks the runner a couple times and then fires that one low and away for ball 2. Brendel so far this season 4 for 17, a double, 3 walks, a run, and 2 RBI. Swing and a miss there. That'll be strike 2. Pickoff attempt at second, but Sawada's going to get back there. Again, just trying to keep the runner honest. That one comes in high for ball 3. A full count to Brendel with 1 out and a runner at second. Payoff pitch is going to miss. Brendel draws the free pass, and it's going to be 2 runners on now with 1 out for the third baseman, number 17, Charlie Engelman. Engelman also coming off a very big day against Boston Latin Academy last Friday, as he was, I believe, 2 for 4 with 3 RBI. Or actually 2 for 3, I think, as he takes strike 1 there. On the season, Engelman 5 for 21 with 2 doubles, 2 walks, and 4 RBI. Swing and a miss there as Engelman caught chasing. That'll be strike 2. Sawada at second, Brendel at first. 1 down here on the top of the first. And that one's going to miss. Engelman thought about it, but decided against it. That'll be ball 1. Swing and a miss. Engelman goes down on strikes. Big out get for Oren. And that'll be 2 down as up comes the first baseman, number 12, Connor Jernigan. Swing and a miss there, strike 1. Jernigan so far on the season, 7 for 28, a team-leading 3 doubles with 3 walks, 2 hit by pitches, 4 runs, and 4 RBI. Chases that one low, strike 2. Sawada at second, Brendel at first, 2 down here in the top of the first. That one dips low and the runners take off and they just let him go. So Sawada gets another steal and Brendel does as well, as that'll be ball 1. Jernigan now facing a 1-2 count. Swing and a miss. Oren takes care of business with back-to-back strikeouts to end the top of the first, and Brookline leaves 2 stranded in scoring position. So we now move to the bottom of the first. Due up for Framingham. Now let's look at the starting lineup for Framingham. Leading off for the Flyers, the pitcher, number 1, Jeremy Oren. Batting second, the second baseman, number 6, Jace Coleman. Batting third, the catcher, number 9, Lucas Messer. Batting cleanup, the first baseman, number 10, J.J. Blanchard. Batting fifth, the shortstop, number 11, Robbie White. Batting 6th, the designated hitter, number 19, Ian Zano. Batting 7th, the third baseman, number 8, Anthony Moretti. Batting 8th, the right fielder, number 13, Noah Albright. And batting 9th, the center fielder, number 27, Tyler King. Just playing the field, not batting for Framingham today, the left fielder, number 4, Nathan Levy. Head coach of the Framingham High baseball team is Matt Milano. And you can see the stats for Brookline's starting pitcher, Elias Brendel. This will be his third pitching appearance of the season, his very first start. So far, he's pitched 5 innings through his 2 relief appearances with an ERA of 4.20, a whip of 2.20, and 5 strikeouts. Remember, as always, if you enjoy this live stream, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on all my upcoming live streams. I'll be covering baseball again, Brookline baseball again on Wednesday, but tomorrow I'm going to be on the volleyball court as the Brookline High Boys Volleyball Warriors will be hosting the Needham High Rockets at Tappan Gym. Be sure to stay tuned for that. Subscribing to the channel can help. But in the meantime, Brendel taking the mound, as leading off for Framingham will be the pitcher, number 1, Jeremy Oren. First pitch to Oren misses low, ball 1. Oren, of course, took care of business in the top of the first inning as the pitcher. And here he takes strike 1. It is now a 1-1 count. Hard contact here, and it's going to get through the gap into right field, get past the right fielder. Oren's going to try and stretch it out to 2, and he slides around the tag and advances on the E9. Big first play for Jeremy Oren. Now with a runner at second, up comes the second baseman, number 6, Jace Coleman. A runner already in scoring position, shows bunt and fouls it off for strike 1. This pitch sails in well high. That'll be ball 1. Shows bunt, this time lays it down. Brendel chases it down, throws to first. And they pulled him off the bag. Back-to-back fielding errors for Brookline as Coleman reaches on the E1. Runners now at the corners with nobody out. And up comes the catcher, number 9, Lucas Messer. First pitch, runner takes off for second. They are going to throw down to second. They cut it off, and so the runner does advance. Pitch was high for ball one, but Coleman does successfully steal second. This pitch is launched out to right, and that's going to be over Hart's head and into fair territory. This is going to clear both runners and send them home. Messer rounding third, losing his helmet, racing down to third with a 2-run triple. A big crack of the bat clears the bases, and it's been a hot offensive start for the Flyers here today. Now coming up, the first baseman, number 10, J.J. Blanchard, is the first pitch from Brendel, misses for ball one. This one is sent high out to right. Hart is tracking it. He dropped it! He dropped it! And it dropped in fair territory, and the E9 is going to bring in Messer on what would have been a sac fly and also would have been the first out, but instead it brings in a run, and everyone is still safe. Two hits, 3 fielding errors for Brookline, and they got a meeting at the infield, as this has been a very rough start for the Warriors. And I mean, again, even if Brookline had fielded everything perfectly, 2 runs would probably still be across in this situation, but there would be 2 outs and no runners on if everything had been fielded perfectly. But instead, no outs, 3 runs on the board, and a runner at second. Now coming up for Framingham, the shortstop, number 11, Robbie White. Shows bunt and fouls it off the catcher's face mask. That'll be strike 1. And whiffs on the bunt this time. They're going to try and pick off the runner unsuccessfully. But that is going to be a 2-strike count against White, as he's whiffed on the attempted sac bunt a couple of times now. Now facing an 0-2 count. He's probably going to be swinging away from here on out. This pitch misses inside for ball 1. This one is going to be sliced foul, and White stays alive. We got our first note in the live chat from Barbara Joe Metzger. Go Brookline Warriors for a win today. And folks, anything you want to say, even as simple as go Brookline or go Framingham, I encourage you to say it in the live chat. That one is in there for strike 3. Blanchard does steal, as they don't even try and catch him. But Brendel finally able to get the first out of the inning. Taking care of business himself with the strikeout. Now coming up, the designated hitter, number 19, Ian Zano. First pitch in for strike one. 3-0. The Flyers lead the Warriors so far here in the bottom of the first. One out, and J.J. Blanchard at third. That pitch going to come in low for ball one. That one comes in low for ball two. Swing and a miss. Strike two. 2-2 the count. Chases that one. Strike three. Back-to-back strikeouts from Brendel as he's trying to get out of this jam himself. 2 down now. Up comes the third baseman, number 8, Anthony Moretti. First pitch in there, strike one. This one fouled off. Quick 0-2 count to Moretti. This one is sent out to right. Diving catch. Oh my gosh! Hart got it! Nico Hart, after booting a couple of balls earlier in the inning, comes through with a big catch to end the inning. But through the end of one, the home team has jumped out to a noticeable lead. The score, the Framingham Flyers 3, the Brookline Warriors 0. Due up for Brookline in the top of the second, will be the 6, 7, 8 hitters. Kravitz, Melton, and Hart. And, you know, give a lot of credit to, give a lot of credit to the Framingham offense in that inning. Yes, they got some help from some fielding mistakes, but they also got some good, clean hits and some strong base running throughout that inning. 2 stolen bases and 2 base hits, one of them a triple. Lucas Messer with the biggest play of the inning with that 2-run triple. And even with all the fielding mistakes, if we scored it out, I would say unofficially, if I were the scorekeeper here, that Brendel would wind up with 3 runs allowed and 2 earned runs. Because even without all of the fielding mistakes, Coleman would have still had a sac bunt and Blanchard would have still had a sac fly. So 2 runs would have still come in, regardless, as Oren and Messer still would have scored. But that said, give a lot of credit also to Elias Brendel, because between the fielding mistakes and the hard hits, you know, if you're a pitcher, and not just if you're a pitcher, but also, you know, it's your first start of the season, and things are just going from bad to worse like that, it can be very easy to just sort of go into a bit of a turtle shell and get scared of throwing strikes. And Brendel was kind of fearless there. He just kept throwing strikes, got back-to-back strikeouts, and then got that last fly out to right as his fielder actually backed him up on that one. A nice diving catch by Nico Hart. But now we're in the top half of the inning. Jeremy Oren back on the hill for the Flyers. And for Brookline, leading off will be the left fielder, number 3, Ryan Kravitz. First pitch in there, strike 1. Kravitz, the senior outfielder, so far this season, 4 for 31 with 3 walks, a stolen base, 3 runs scored, and 1 RBI. As he takes strike 2 to the inside corner there, falls behind early at 0-2. Fouls that one off and stays alive. We've got a note from a Framingham fan in the live chat from John Knight. Go Framingham from Florida. So many F's in there. And that is going to be strike 3 looking to Ryan Kravitz, and that will be 1 down to start the inning. Now up for Brookline, the catcher, number 14, Avery Melton. Melton had a 2-hit day against Boston Latin Academy as he fouls this one off for strike 1. So far for the season, 4 for 20, 4 walks, 1 hit by pitch, 1 steal, and 1 run scored. Delayed swing there, and he drops it down the left field line. And that'll be a clean single for Melton. So a runner on now for Brookline, and now coming up to the plate to the right fielder, number 9, Nico Hart. And we've got a courtesy runner coming on for Avery Melton. That's going to be number 7, James Dialchand Erickson. And Brookline fans got to be happy to see Dialchand Erickson on the field in any capacity, as he was last seen coming off the mound with an injury to his pitching elbow. I was told he was going to have an MRI to look at it. It seems like, you know, maybe the worst didn't happen, as he's able to be out there, you know, nothing on his elbow or anything like that, and just able to be out there as a runner as Hart swings and misses for strike 2. So some silver lining there for Brookline and their junior pitcher, James Dialchand Erickson. This one fouled off by Hart, and he stays alive at 0-2. Hart has been one of the more pleasant surprises for Brookline. He's had a pretty productive year, 6 for 28 with 1 double, 5 walks, 3 steals, 5 runs scored, and 4 RBI. A guy who was more of a platoon player last year and didn't get a lot of plate appearances has made the most of his increased opportunities so far this season, as that attempted pickoff does not catch Dialchand Erickson. Still 0-2. Another pickoff attempt, and again, Dialchand Erickson back safely. And a delayed swing keeps Hart alive as he sends it foul down the first baseline. And Oren now steps off the rubber, taking a beat there. That one comes in high for ball 1. Hart still fighting here at the plate, 1-2 with 1 down and a runner at first. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Third strikeout of the day so far for Jeremy Oren. And now coming up for Brookline, the center fielder, number 20, Harrison Siegel. Dielchin Derrickson takes off, and Siegel skies this one. It's going to go foul and out of play for strike one. Siegel so far this season 6 for 31, 2 walks, a team-leading 6 hit by pitches, tied for the team lead in steals with 5, as that pickoff attempt does not catch Dielchin Derrickson again. 6 runs scored and a team-leading 6 RBI for Harrison Siegel. So although his slash line hasn't been as impressive as it was last year, he's been much more timely with his offensive production with 6 runs and 6 RBIs. That pitch is going to miss for ball 1, and Dielchin Derrickson is going to take second. One and one, the count to Siegel. And that one is in there for strike 2. Dielchin Derrickson, the courtesy runner at second, 2 down. 1 and 2, the count to Siegel. Fouled off, and Siegel stays alive. Again, a very noticeable wind gusting through here at Bowditch Field. So any balls that carry at all are going to be a task to track. Pitch is in high, and the throw is going to sail into left field. Dielchin Derrickson is going to come around home. James Dielchin Derrickson with the aggressive base running there. And it pays off in spades. Steals third and scores on the E2. And it's now a 2-2 count to Siegel as he fouls off to still stay alive. Brookline now on the board. The score is 3-1. And this one is skied. This one might stay in play. The wind is carrying it, though. But it is tracked in foul territory by Messer, and that is going to end the inning. So Brookline able to get on the board in the top of the second. Our score heading into the bottom half of the inning, Framingham 3, Brookline 1. Brendel returns to the hill for a second inning of work. It was a very trying inning, that first inning, and in this one he'll be facing the 8-9 one-hitters, Albright, King, and Oren. We saw last inning how even when things started to go wrong, Brendel had no fear throwing strikes. And that's really what you have to do if you're a pitcher. You know, even if guys are starting to hit you, you know, you've got no choice but to throw strikes. You just got to trust in the percentages that, you know, most batted balls are still going to result in an out. You know, and when a team is stringing a rally together, that might, you know, it might not gel well with your instincts, but that's just how you got to feel about it. Leading off for Framingham here in the bottom of the second will be the right fielder, number 13, Noah Albright. First pitch inside, ball 1. This one is going to be skied. Staying in the infield. Sawada tracking it with the wind, and he's got it. You know, that's the thing you got to watch out for on a windy day like today. Even the most routine pop-ups can turn into an offensive chance if the wind blows right. But that time, Sawada able to track it for out number 1. First pitch is swung on and missed. Strike 1. At the plate for Framingham is the center fielder, number 27, Tyler King. As he takes that one over his head for ball 1. That one's going to miss as well, ball 2. And that one is going to miss. Count is 3-1. And swings at that one, strike 2. Brendel kind of fooled him with the curve there, and now it's a full count. This one fouled off. King staying alive with a full count. And this one he skies. It's going to stay in the infield foul territory. Melton trying to track with the wind, and he dropped it. Again, what did I say? Those pop-ups, you know, more so than ever. I mean, these are high school level players, and it's a windy day. No such thing as a routine pop-up. This one is skied, foul and out of play. King not letting Brendel get the easy out here as he continues to battle. And that one sails in high, and King battles his way to a walk. So again, the fielding mistakes costly for Brookline, as they would have had a second out, but the dropped foul ball has now led to a walk. Runner at first with 1 out as we cycle back to the top of the order with the pitcher, number 1, Jeremy Oren. First pitch high and away for ball 1. Oren, his last time up, he got a single to right and advanced to second on an E9. Later came in to score. Runner is taking off for second. It's a hit and run over to second. They couldn't flip it to second in time, and they couldn't get to first in time. Everyone reaches safely. The hit and run rushed the fielder at second, which meant he couldn't flip it to second to start a potential double play, so he had to change tactics and try and go straight to first, but he didn't have time for that either as Oren brought the speed to reach first safely. I think you would still officially score that in E4 as the ball was bobbled by the second baseman, but I would call that more of a forced error for those of you familiar with tennis terminology. At the plate right now is the second baseman, number 6, Jace Coleman. So that one is going to miss for ball 1. Coleman, his last time up, attempted to lay down a sac bunt, ended up reaching on an E1 and later came in to score as he fouls this one off for strike 2. First and second with 1 out. And Brendel steps off the rubber there. Resets. That one comes in well low for ball 2. This one lifted out to left center. It's caught by Kravitz. And the runners are all going to have to hold. Big outget for Brendel, as the runners do not advance, and he gets the second out. Now coming up, the catcher, number 9, Lucas Messer. Messer had the big swing for a 2-run triple to right field his last time up. Now up with 2 runners on once again, but this time with 2 down. First pitch misses, ball 1. This one is golfed into shallow right. Hoffman tracking it, chasing it, could not catch it. 2 runs are going to come in again off the hit from Messer. Wait, are 2 runs going to come in? No, they aren't! They caught the runner at home to end the inning. 1 run comes in for Framingham, but the inning ends. I think you can call that one an RBI single for Messer. He got some big help from the wind on that one, but I don't think you can give an error on that play. That was a very hard to track ball for Owen Hoffman, and credit to him. After dropping the ball, he recovered, threw to the cutoff man, and threw, or at least I think he hit a cutoff man before going home. Either way, eventually they went home and caught Oren at the plate to end the inning. So despite a couple more fielding mishaps for Brookline, they hold the Flyers to just 1 run there in the bottom of the 2nd. We are through 2 here at Bowditch Field. The Flyers lead the Warriors 4-1. Brookline will send the top of their order to the plate. The 1, 2, 3 hitters due up in the top of the 3rd, Sawada, Hoffman, and Brendel. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. I'm going to take a brief break off the mic, but I'll be back to call the 3rd inning of this game. Stay tuned. All right, back on the mic. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan coming to you live from Bowditch Field in Framingham, Massachusetts for today's high school varsity baseball contest between Brookline and Framingham. Starting the top of the 3rd inning, Jeremy Oren back on the hill for Framingham. Leading off for Brookline, the shortstop, number 5, Keenan Sawada. First pitch, and he lifts it out to right. That's going to be a clean single for Keenan Sawada. So Sawada gives Brookline a leadoff runner for the 2nd time in 3 innings. Last time he got on base, he stole 2nd and 3rd, but was left stranded. Now hoping to help move him along is the 2nd baseman, number 2, Owen Hoffman. Hoffman, his last time up, he popped out to second. Sawada taking off, and Hoffman fouls that one off as he was caught chasing low. That'll be strike one. And that's one of those ones where you can tell he's not only frustrated he went around on that one because he kind of got fooled on the curve, but also he's frustrated that his bat caught a piece of it. Sawada just taking off again. That pitch in there for strike two. Sawada down to second, and the throw got away from the shortstop. So Sawada with his third steal of the day. And now Brookline with a runner in scoring position, but Hoffman facing an 0-2 count. That one misses for ball one. And again, Hoffman fooled on the low curve, but he does foul it off and stays alive at 1-2. Runner at second, nobody out. And swing and a miss, and they go for a pickoff. Sawada's back safe, but Hoffman is out on strikes. Jeremy Oren has been lethal with that high heat for the strikeout so far today. He's gotten a couple that way. And now one out, and up comes the Brookline pitcher, number 23, Elias Brendel. Oren steps off the rubber. Brendel, his last time up, he drew a walk and stole second, but was left stranded. First pitch going to miss outside, ball one. That one catches the corner, strike one. 1-1 the count now to Brendel. Brendel hits a grounder, chased down by the first baseman, throws to the pitcher, and that is going to be out number two. Sawada advances to third, but holds at third. Well tracked at first by J.J. Blanchard, and Oren himself did a good job covering first base there for the 3-1 groundout. Now two down with a runner at third, and up comes the third baseman, number 17, Charlie Engelman. First pitch is high for ball one. Engelman, his last time up, went down on strikes. He's going to need a base hit here to bring in Sawada, as that one skips low for ball two. Good block by Messer. If anything gets past him, it's going to be a prime chance for Sawada to score. Swing and a miss. Strike one. That one comes in low for ball three. 3-1, the count to Engelman. And he's going to foul this one off. And Engelman now staring down a full count with 2 outs here in the top of the third. Sawada at third. And that one hits him. Because it hit him, the ball is dead. Sawada cannot try to advance. But that will put runners on the corners for the first baseman, number 12, Connor Jernigan. Jernigan went down on strikes his last time up. Oren's been good at getting batters down on strikes, and while Jernigan is the most explosive hitter on Brookline's roster, he is also the most prone to go down on strikes. So a big test on both sides here. First pitch in there, strike one. Jernigan hits it, and it's fielded at second and thrown to second for out number 3. Well collected by Coleman as he covered that gap up the middle well for the fielder's choice. And that is going to end the top of the third. As we head to the bottom of the third, the score still Framingham 4, Brookline 1. And you can see fielding has played a big difference in this game. We saw, 2 really good snags on some hard grounders in less than ideal spots for the defense, both by J.J. Blanchard at first and Jace Coleman at second. Again, at the high school level, there's no such thing as a routine play, but especially, hits that were placed like those were very close to going through the gap, and both Flyers fielders snagged those ones well. Meanwhile, for Brookline, fielding mistakes have plagued them through the first 2 innings, and it's resulted in 2 unearned runs. That said, Brookline has come up with a couple of clutch defensive plays to prevent it from getting worse. So it's been the highest of highs and the lowest of lows for Brookline defensively so far, as they are getting ready to face the 4, 5, 6 hitters for Framingham, Blanchard, White, and Zaino, with Elias Brendel back on the hill for his 3rd inning of work. Stepping in first, the first baseman, number 10, J.J. Blanchard. First reached on an E9, went all the way to second and would steal third, but was left stranded. That one is going to miss for ball 1. That one missing outside as well, ball 2. A lot of Brendel's pitches have really been leaning to that outside for lefties, inside for righties side of the plate, as that one sails high for ball 3. 3-1, the count to Blanchard. And he launches this one deep to left. Kravitz going back, and he's got it. Might have had some help from a bit of a headwind that time. Wind might have actually helped Brookline in that case. Prevented that ball from carrying further than it might have normally, as the wind is sort of blowing towards home plate out here at Bowditch. But either way, that's going to be a fly out to left for out number 1. Now up the shortstop, number 11, Robbie White. And White takes strike 1. This one comes in high for ball 1. White, his last time up, he went down on strikes. This time a hard grounder over to Sawada, and he booted it And White is going to reach on the E6. That one just went off the end of the glove there. And it seemed like Sawada kind of lost his footing. Maybe he didn't expect, maybe he thought he had the ball solidly in his glove, but it started to fly out and it caused him to stumble a bit. Either way, a runner at first. Now up the designated hitter, number 19, Ian Zino. Takes strike one there. Last time up, Zino went down on strikes. And a note to any Framingham fans, if you hear me mispronouncing any names, I encourage you to correct me in the live chat, as that one is in there for strike two. Runner at first, one out. 0-2 the count. Brendel takes a beat, steps off the rubber. That one's high and inside for ball one. Melton took a brief look over at first, but no throw. This one is going to be popped foul, and that's going to carry out of play. Zino stays alive at 1-2. Correction, I had it right the first time. It is Zano. So 1-2 the count to Zano. That one is going to be high as well for ball two. Again, Melton taking advantage of the high pitches to take a brief look over at first, although there's been no throw yet. And he lifts this one out to center, and Siegel's got it for out number two. So two down. And up comes the third baseman, number 8, Anthony Moretti. First pitch is in there for a strike. Runner's taking off for second. Oh my gosh, I think they got him. No, the tag was dropped. So it will be a successful steal for Robbie White. The throw was in time and was pretty well placed, but it was ultimately kind of a tough spot to make a tag, as ultimately the ball got effectively kicked out of the glove by the sliding White. 0-1 the count to Moretti as he bloops one out to shallow right. Hoffman tracking. Hoffman's got it. Wasn't able to hold on to the tag, but was able to hold on to the pop out there, and that will end the inning. So no score from either team in the third. 3 innings in, the score: the Framingham Flyers 4, the Brookline Warriors 1. You know, again, we're just seeing the best of times and the worst of times from Brookline's fielders. They've made a couple of really nice plays. They've also made a couple of very ugly plays. You know, it's been kind of a roller coaster. But again, I give credit to Elias Brendel for continuing to pitch calmly and coolly through it all and just keep throwing strikes and trust in the guys behind him. For Brookline, once again, it'll be the 6, 7, 8 hitters: Kravitz, Melton, and Hart. Brookline has threatened and gotten runners into scoring position in every single inning, but have only scored 1 run so far. Driving runners in has been a bit of a struggle at times for Brookline this season. Just trying to get that one clutch hit that can bring some guys home, as their only run so far has come on a throwing error by the catcher. Jeremy Oren back on the mound. He's been very effective so far. He's got 5 strikeouts through the first 3 innings, and he'll now be facing the Brookline left fielder, number 3, Ryan Kravitz. First pitch swung on and missed for strike 1. That one curves in low for ball 1. Oren showing a good mix of pitches. He's thrown in some curves, some off speeds, brought the heat. Delayed swing from Kravitz is booted by Oren. He picks it back up and throws to first in time for out number 1. Almost a fielding error by Oren himself, but ultimately a simple 1-3 ground out. Now as the wind really starts to whip here at Bowditch, up comes the Brookline catcher, number 14, Avery Melton. First pitch skips away from Messer. That's going to be ball 1. Melton has one of Brookline's 2 hits so far against Oren. He had a single his last time up as he swings and misses there. His courtesy runner, James D'Alchand-Erickson, would later come in to score. Fouls this one off, strike 2. And Melton with a defensive swing there and fouls it off up the third base side to stay alive. And skies this one in foul territory. Blanchard tracking and watches it fly out of play. Melton keeps battling here at 1-2. That one catches the low corner for strike 3. Oren catches Melton looking for strikeout number 6 and out number 2 here in the 4th. 2 down and the base is empty. Up comes the right fielder, number 9, Nico Hart. Hart went down on strikes his last time up. This time takes ball 1 to the outside. And Hart with a good swing here. That's going to drop out in center. And Hart's going to have a clean 2-out single. The wind really whipping, and now for Brookline, up comes the center fielder, number 20, Harrison Siegel. He's going to take ball 1. Siegel, his last time up, popped out to the catcher to end the top of the 2nd. Now he lifts this one as Hart takes off. And the wind dies down just in time for the shortstop to track that one. White makes the catch for out number 3. No score for Brookline in the top half of the inning. We move to the bottom of the fourth with Framingham still up 4-1. Brendel back on the mound. He's delivered a solid outing thus far. Due up in the bottom of the fourth will be the 8-9 one-hitters Albright, King, and Oren. And again, really outside of that one big swing from Lucas Messer, Elias Brendel has done really an exceptional job on the mound. You know, just had some unlucky bounces off his fielder's gloves. And his team trails now by 3. At the plate for Framingham, the right fielder, number 13, Noah Albright. First pitch swung on and missed, strike 1. Albright, his last time up, he popped out to short. Swings and misses there, strike 2. Fouled off, and Albright stays alive at 0-2. That one sails high and inside. Almost hits Albright. It'll just be ball 1. Brendel has not had any strikeouts since the first inning. And this one's a hard grounder, juggled by Hoffman, and he's not going to get there in time. Another reach on error for the Flyers. It's been a tough day in the field for the Warriors, but again, Brendel faithfully pitching to contact. Runner at first, now up the center fielder, number 27, Tyler King. First pitch, and he lifts it deep out to left. Kravitz tracking, and he's got it for out number 1, and the runners hold. The runner holds. One pitch out. You like to see that if you're a pitcher. One down, runner still at first. Up comes the pitcher, number 1, Jeremy Oren. First pitch is high for ball 1. Oren has reached base twice so far, once on a single and once on an E4. Attempted pickoff. Brookline checks on Albright over at first. Runner taking off. Oren lifts it out to left. Kravitz tracking it again, and he's got it again. Albright has to retreat as the hit and run is unsuccessful. And a couple of quick outs on flyouts to left. And now coming up with 2 down and a runner at first, the second baseman, number 6, Jace Coleman. First pitch in high, they check it first, but Albright gets back safely. Count will be 1-0 to Coleman. Coleman 0 for 2 so far today. He has reached on an E1 and flown out to left. Sends this one out to center. Siegel is tracking it, cannot catch it. Runners are going to be taking off. Kravitz comes in, throws it back into the field, and the runners are going to hold at second and third. A double to left center for Jace Coleman. Puts 2 runners in scoring position. As up comes perhaps the most dangerous hitter in the Framingham lineup. At least he's been the most dangerous today. The catcher, number 9, Lucas Messer. Messer's already driven in 3 of Framingham's 4 runs today. He had a 2-run triple in the first, and he had an RBI single in the second that ultimately resulted in a second runner being thrown out at home. First pitch misses, ball 1. So Messer 2 for 2 today with a triple and 3 RBI. And 1 run scored. Fouls this one off, strike 1. So Messer has literally played a part in every single run scored for Framingham so far today. Scored 1 himself and drove in the other 3. Now with 2 runners in scoring position and 2 down, he faces a 1-1 count. Make that a 1-2 count. Albright at third, Coleman at second. And Messer takes a timeout. And now Brendel takes a timeout. And he's going to have a meeting with Melton before throwing this next pitch. You know, in a situation like this, you got to be careful not to get too tricky with your pitch. Because if this gets away from your catcher, then a run's going to come in. This one comes in high for ball 2. 2-2 the count. 2 runners on, 2 down. In there, strike 3. Brendel with a big strikeout to get out of the jam and end the 4th inning. Our score at the end of 4, Framingham 4, Brookline 1. During this 4th inning intermission, I'd like to take a moment for a local charity spotlight. I'd like to tell you about the Brookline Food Pantry. The Brookline Food Pantry provides groceries to Brookline residents in need of food assistance. The pantry saw a huge increase in demand for food assistance at the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, and that number has remained steadily high ever since. The food pantry has been serving an average of 650 households each week, more than 4 times the rate of families served pre-COVID. Brookline Food Pantry is fighting the good fight against hunger in our community, and they are always looking for more people willing to lend a hand, whether through monetary donations, direct food donations, or volunteers in the pantry. Food donations can be made at United Parish Church at 210 Harvard Street in Brookline on Wednesdays and Fridays from 9:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Monetary donations can be made online at the food pantry's website, brooklinefoodpantry.org. Visit brooklinefoodpantry.org or call 617-800-5339 for more information about how you can volunteer with the pantry and help feed your community. Once again, that's brooklinefoodpantry.org or call 617-800-5339. And as always, you can see all that information about our local charity spotlight, the Brookline Food Pantry, in the description section of the video down below. Big news, we've got a pitching change for Framingham. Number 22, Ryan McAuliffe takes over on the mound for Jeremy Oren. So Oren finishes having pitched 4 innings, allowing 1 unearned run. And I'm not sure if Oren has taken a spot out in center field. So he takes over for Tyler King out in center. So right now, in terms of offense for Framingham, my guess is that McAuliffe will replace King in the batting order. But for right now, it's Brookline's batting order that is the question as we go into the top of the 5th. And the top of the Brookline order will be due up. It'll be Sawada, Hoffman, and Brendel, who will have to face an all-new pitcher coming at them from a completely different direction. As you can see, McAuliffe warming up. He is a southpaw. It's a rare enough thing to face a southpaw, but that's going to present 2 unique challenges. Of course, the ball is going to be curving from a different direction, so you have to look at it, very differently when you're at the plate. But even more so at the high school level, where small ball reigns supreme and base running is so important. Lefties have an advantage on pickoff moves at first base, which can be huge and really bring some offensive pushes to a halt. So we'll see what Brookline does against the new pitcher here, starting with the shortstop, number 5, Keenan Sawada. Sawada 1 for 1 so far today with a single, a walk, and 3 stolen bases. And the first pitch comes in high for ball 1. Shows bunt, but pulls back, and that's going to be a high ball 2. That one does curve into the zone for strike 1. Again, Jeremy Oren had a very productive 4 innings of work, 1 unearned run, and 6 strikeouts. As that one misses for ball 3. So assuming no lead changes, Oren will be credited with the pitching win, as he did last the requisite 4 innings as a starter. As that one is in there for strike 2. Full count to Sawada. And Sawada fouls it off to stay alive. Excuse me, felt a sneeze coming on there. Count still full. And Sawada bloops this one, going to stay in the infield, and it's going to be tracked for out number 1. So McAuliffe has to battle, but does get the first out. Big first step for a reliever. And with 1 down, up comes the second baseman, number 2, Owen Hoffman. That one skips in the dirt for ball 1. That one is going to miss outside, ball 2. Hoffman last time up went down on strikes. Before that, popped out to second. Could not check his swing there, and it might have been in the zone anyway. Strike 1. That one inside, ball 3. Second straight batter to get a 3-ball count against McAuliffe. And Hoffman swings and misses, strike 2. So once again, a full count. And he fouls it off to stay alive. We're seeing some deja vu here. 3-1 becomes 3-2, and then a foul ball. Just the same as it was with Sawada. And that one's going to miss, so Hoffman fights his way to a 1-out walk. And Brookline's got a runner on. Up comes the pitcher, number 23, Elias Brendel. First pitch in there, strike 1. Brendel walked his first time up, grounded out to first the second time. 0 for 1 with a walk and a steal. And a pickoff attempt over at first off the high ball 1 as Hoffman dives back. And again, with a runner on base, on first base specifically against a lefty pitcher, you got to be a little more careful. Swing and a miss there from Brendel, strike 2. Pickoff attempt, and that time Hoffman dives back, but you see what I mean there. The lefty pickoff move can be dangerous at this level. That one skips in the dirt. Hoffman takes off, going down to second, slides in safe. Big break for Brookline there, as Hoffman, with the delayed takeoff, advances to second on the wild pitch. And that'll make it a 2-2 count to Brendel with a runner now in scoring position. Swing and a miss, and Brendel goes down on strikes. Two down, runner at second, and up comes the third baseman, number 17, Charlie Engelman. Engelman fouls that one off for strike 1. Oh, he got hit again. He caught that one right in the stomach, like he was a receiver taking a throw from a quarterback. So Engelman, for the second time today, gets hit by a pitch. And now there are 2 runners on with 2 out. And up comes the first baseman, number 12, Connor Jernigan. First pitch is inside, ball 1. Jernigan, last time up, grounded into a fielder's choice. Before that, went down on strikes. Hoping for something better here. High, ball 2, attempted pickoff, Hoffman back safe. Of course, Jernigan had an explosive day against Framingham at home. He had 2 RBI doubles. And he cracks this one out to left. That's one that's going to drop in front of the left fielder. Hoffman rounding third, heading for home, and he is going to come in to score. Connor Jernigan comes through with the RBI single there. And Brookline closes the gap a little bit, makes it 4-2. Now up the left fielder, number 3, Ryan Kravitz. First pitch high, ball 1. Engelman at second. Jernigan representing the potential tying run at first. Although with 2 out in the inning, that tying run seems very far away, as we've now got a meeting at the mound with McAuliffe. So Connor Jernigan records his 5th RBI of the season. Now second on the team in RBI, trailing only Harrison Siegel. Kravitz, his last time up, he grounded out to the pitcher. And before that, went down on strikes. So 0 for 2 so far today, just like Jernigan before him. And now after the timeout, Kravitz hoping he can do something. McAuliffe hoping to settle in and finish the inning. That pitch catches the corner, strike 1. That one skips in the dirt, well blocked by Messer as the runners hold, but that will be ball 2. This one comes in high for ball 3. A 3-1 count to Kravitz. That one misses, ball 4. Kravitz loads the bases on a walk. And with the tying run now in scoring position, up comes the catcher, number 14, Avery Melton. Melton 1 for 2 so far today with a single and a strikeout. First pitch gonna miss, high, ball 1. A walk here would bring in a run. A hit here would bring in a run. Any way that Melton reaches safely brings in a run. That one's in there, strike 1. Melton aiming for his first RBI of the season, facing a 1-1 count. That one in the dirt, ball 2. 2-1 the count. That one in there, strike 2. 2-2 the count. Bases loaded, 2 outs in a 2-run ball game here in the top of the 5th. Swing and miss. Melton chased the high heat and goes down on strikes. And McAuliffe escapes the jam. So Brookline does get a run back, but again leaves some runners stranded. Going into the bottom of the 5th, they're going to stick with their man, Elias Brendel. Due up is going to be the 4, 5, 6 hitters, Blanchard, White, and Zano. And Brendel has really settled in and taken care of jam after jam the past couple innings. Allowed 4 runs, 2 of them earned through the first 2 innings. But has thus far managed to hold off the Flyers. In hopes that his team can come back. They did get a run back in the top half of the inning, but that was all they could get. And so Brendel has to go back out there and once again try and keep the Flyers from extending their lead. We got a note in the live chat from Kim Chung-sik. Let's go Warriors. Good to see you in the chat again, Chung-sik. And I saw John had his senior day game. So congratulations to him and to all of you guys. Stepping up now for Framingham, the first baseman, number 10, J.J. Blanchard. First pitch going to miss low and away, ball 1. Blanchard, last time up, flew out to left. Before that, reached on the E9. Hits a high chopper here over to second. Fielded by Hoffman, thrown to first. The throw is wild. Well backed up by Melton. And that one might spark a debate amongst scorekeepers about whether you call it a single or an E4 for right now. I'll say E4. But again, that's going to be left up to the official scorekeepers. Is a runner on first for Framingham. Now coming up, the shortstop, number 11, Robbie White. That one skips in the dirt, well blocked by Melton. And that'll be ball 1. White, his last time up, reached on an E6, stole second, but was left stranded in the 3rd inning. Before that, he went down on strikes. Takes a high one there for ball 2. This one fouled off. That's going to be strike 1. That one misses inside, ball 3. A 3-1 count now to White. That one in there, strike 2. Runner thought about taking off, and that might have just been a ploy to throw Brendel off on his pitch. If it was brilliant, as the pitch does miss for ball 4. And now, after surrendering back-to-back base runners, a meeting now at the mound, and with this now his potential 5th inning of work, this might be the end of the day for Brendel. You would understand if it was, as he's gone a long distance here for Brookline. But right now it seems like they're going to stick with him. And we've got a pinch hitter now coming up in place of Zano, number 28, Jackson Donato. So we see our first pinch hitter of the day. And now the ump taking a moment to brush off the plate. Now stepping in, the pinch hitter, number 28, Jackson Donato. And now the ump calls a brief time. Runners at first and second, nobody out. Framingham trying to build on a 4-2 lead. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Brendel caught him chasing a curve to the outside. Steps off the rubber, and now in comes catcher and shortstop to talk with the pitcher. Interestingly enough, it looked like they had Sawada, the shortstop, covering the runner at second. Probably because they've also got a runner at first. And so Jernigan is pulled away from the right side gap. But now they got Hoffman covering second, so they're kind of alternating. As that one catches the corner as well for strike 2. 0-2, the count to Donato. Runner taking off for third, and it's contacted. It's going to drop out in center. No, it isn't. Caught by Siegel. He's going to pick the runner off at second for the double play. A big break for Brookline as the hit and run backfires spectacularly for the double play. Now coming up, the third baseman, number 8, Anthony Moretti. And we go from first and second, nobody out, to just first with 2 out. And the first pitch is going to be grounded foul up the third base line. So Blanchard is picked off at second. White is still at first. 2 down and an 0-1 count to Moretti. That one is in there for strike 2. Again, that hit from Donato looked like it was going to drop in center field, but just hung in the air a little too long as Siegel was able to charge in and get it and get an easy pickoff. This one's lined out to right, and that is going to drop in safely. White's going to hold at second. And it's going to be 2 runners on once again. Now coming up, the right fielder, number 13, Noah Albright. Runners at first and second, 2 down. Lifts this one into shallow center. Siegel tracking it, and he's got it for out number 3. So once again, Brendel and the Brookline defense managed to get out of the jam and keep Framingham from adding to their lead. We are 5 innings in here at Bowditch Field in Framingham, Massachusetts. The score after 5, Framingham 4, Brookline 2. Due up for Brookline is going to be their 8-9-1 hitters, Hart, Siegel, and Sawada. As we've got another relief pitcher coming in for the Flyers here in the top of the 6th inning. It was a shaky 5th inning for their first reliever, Ryan McAuliffe, but he did manage to escape with minimal damage, allowing just 1 run on the 2-out RBI single by Connor Jernigan. Now coming up is actually the starter from last game, number 21, Michael Chagnon. So McAuliffe ends the day with 1 inning pitched and 1 earned run. Chagnon, last time he pitched against Brookline, he lasted 2 innings, gave up 5 runs, 2 of them earned on 2 hits, 3 walks, and 1 strikeout. And now leading off for Brookline here on the top of the 6th will be the right fielder, number 9, Nico Hart. Hart, his last time up, he got a 2-out single back in the 4th inning, but was left stranded. Before that, he went down on strikes. So 1 for 2 so far today. Chagnon, first pitch, high and inside, ball 1. Interestingly, Chagnon, the 2nd straight left-handed reliever to come on for the Flyers, as he catches Hart chasing low for strike 1. That one catches the corner, strike 2. Hart behind in the count, 1-2. And that one catches the outside corner for strike 3. Chagnon off to an efficient start with a 4-pitch strikeout. And with 1 down, up comes the center fielder, number 20, Harrison Siegel. Siegel had a big play on that double play in the last half inning as he takes ball 1 low. Siegel, his last time up, he popped out to short. Before that, popped out to the catcher. And fouls that one off on one he probably didn't want to swing at. You could see the hesitation there. He was trying to pull back. Did get a piece of it, so a foul ball for strike 1. Brief meeting between Chagnon and Messer. Siegel had a productive day last time Brookline faced Framingham all the way back in April. He was 2 for 3 with 2 runs scored and an RBI, as well as 2 stolen bases. Now 0 for 2 so far, facing a 1-1 count, and fouls that one off for strike 2. Again, a lot of low curving pitches from Chagnon, as Sequel might have chased on that one just a bit. Swing and a miss, and it drops out of the catcher's glove. Or no, he got a piece of it. It was a foul ball, and Messer couldn't put his glove around it, so Sequel is still alive. Now Chagnon steps off the rubber. And this one is also fouled off and out of play. Count remains 1-2. That one skips in the dirt. It's going to be ball 2. It's a grounder this time, over to short, fielded well by White, thrown to first, in time for out number 2. Brookline down to their last 4 outs as they cycle around to the top of the order. Now up the shortstop, number 5, Keenan Sawada. First pitch is high, ball 1. Sawada 1 for 2 so far today, with a walk and 3 stolen bases, as he takes strike 1 there. That one's going to miss, ball 2. And this one is fouled off as Sawada gets jammed inside. 2-2 the count. And fouls it off again. Count still 2-2. And again, it's fouled off. Sawada not going down easily. Count still 2-2 with 2 outs and the bases empty. That one in the dirt. Ball 3. A full count now. And that one catches the inside corner. Sawada can't believe it, but he is down on strikes. Brookline goes down in order in the top of the 6th. And now they are going to send a reliever out onto the mound. This is number 11, Nate Kessler. So Brendel finishes the day with 5 innings pitched, doubling up his total innings pitched for the season. A solid outing, allowed 4 runs, 2 of them earned. But ultimately, if the lead does not change, Brendel will be the pitcher on credit for the loss. Looking at the stats for Kessler, this marks his 5th pitching appearance, all in relief this season. He's got a 0-1 record with 1 save on Brookline's lone save opportunity of the season, and that was that earlier game against Framingham, where he pitched 3 of his so far 10 2/3 innings of work. And in those 3 innings against Framingham, he prevented them from coming back, and if you pitch 3 innings in relief, you get a save. Kessler with a team-leading 3.28 ERA. Of course, that is leading among all pitchers with at least 10 innings pitched so far this season. He's got a whip of 1.80 and 11 strikeouts so far. So Brookline hoping Kessler can hold down the fort here in the bottom of the 6th and keep the Framingham lead within reach for the 7th inning. He'll be facing the 9-1-2 hitters. Not sure who's batting first, but I know afterwards it's going to be Oren and then Coleman. Because again, Oren replaced Tyler King out in center field after he moved off the pitcher's mound. So I think the current relief pitcher, Michael Chagnon, is going to be batting for King. Like I said before, Kessler pitched in the last game against Framingham as a reliever. In that one, he lasted 3 innings, gave up 1 earned run on 3 hits, 4 walks with 3 strikeouts. And again, Brookline will be down to their final 3 outs in the next half inning. And they'll be relying on their 2, 3, 4 hitters. Hoffman and now Kessler in place of Brendel and then Engelman. As we don't see Brendel taking anyone's spot in the field. And so Kessler will be taking Brendel's spot in the batting order. First pitch, and he hits a dribbler foul. Hits a grounder over to first, picked up by Jernigan, and Jernigan's going to take it himself for out number 1. So an efficient 2-pitch ground out to start the inning for Kessler. Now coming up, the center fielder, number 1, Jeremy Oren. Shows bunt and bunts it foul. Oren, once again, the pitcher on record for the win as of now, after he started the game for Framingham and pitched the first 4 innings. Owen won the count. That one is in there for strike 2. Oren, his last time up, flew out to left back in the 4th. Before that, he had a single and reached on an error. Hits a hard grounder up the middle, fielded by Hoffman, thrown to first, and he's out. Hoffman's been facing a lot of tough grounders today, but that time takes care of business and makes it look pretty routine. So 2 down, base is empty, and up comes the second baseman, number 6, Jace Coleman. Hits a hard grounder foul up the first base line. Coleman had a big swing of the bat his last time up. He hit a 2-out double that put runners on second and third back in the fourth, but he was left stranded. That one just misses outside, ball 1. That's actually the first ball Kessler has thrown since taking over on the mound this inning. As that one comes in well high for ball 2. That one just misses as well, ball 3. So after not throwing a ball through the first 2 hitters, now 3 balls to Coleman, who's now facing a 3-1 count. That one's in there for strike 2. Full count, 2 outs, bases empty here in the bottom of the 6th. That one just misses, ball 4. Coleman draws a 2-out walk and puts a runner on for the catcher, number 9, Lucas Messer. Messer 2 for 3 so far today with a triple, a run scored, and 3 RBI. Went down on strikes his last time up, but before that had a 2-run triple and later came in to score, and then had a 1-run single. His first pitch sails well high for ball 1. Kessler's got to be careful not to lose his control here. He's not out of this inning yet. As that one sails in high as well. You know, after a couple pitches like that, you wonder if the quicker delivery forced by the runner on first is maybe throwing off Kessler's delivery a little. But that one is in there for strike 1. Kessler takes a foot off the rubber just to check on Coleman and keep him honest. Two and one, the count to Messer. This one fouled off. Snagged over in the Framingham dugout. And that'll be strike 2. Two and two, the count to Messer. That one's going to sail high, and Melton juggled the ball and could not make the throw down to second as Coleman snags a base there and moves into scoring position as the count to Messer is now full at 3 and 2. This one fouled off, and Messer stays alive, and the count stays full. And again, Messer fouls it off. He is not going down easy here. And this time Kessler checks on Coleman again. Again, no throw, just trying to keep the runner honest. As he stares back in against Messer. Messer lifts this one out to shallow right. Hart charging in, and he's got the catch. Kessler gets out of the inning with no score. But Brookline is down to their final 3 outs. They've got one more inning to try and get back 2 runs and try and keep this game going. Due up for Brookline will be the 2, 3, 4 hitters. Hoffman, Kessler, and Engelman. Just going to take a break off the mic for 1 second. I'll be right back. All right, we've got some substitution news on both sides of the field here. Another new reliever for Framingham. This is number 16, Jaron Duffy. As he takes over for Michael Chagnon, trying to close this one out. And for Brookline, it looks like they're going to have a pinch hitter. It looks like it's going to be number 19, Ben Rosenblatt. So a very interesting spot for a pinch hitter. And indeed, pinch hitting for Owen Hoffman is going to be number 19, Ben Rosenblatt. Rosenblatt has only had 2 plate appearances for Brookline so far this season. Both of them have been in blowout losses. He is 2 for 2 at the plate so far, but he is now up in a very big situation here as he takes strike 1 from Duffy. And this one is fouled out of play for strike 2. Swing and a miss. Rosenblatt goes down for the first time this season. 3 pitches, 3 strikes from Duffy. Brookline's got 2 outs left to work with. Now coming up, the pitcher, number 11, Nate Kessler. First pitch fouled off, strike 1. As you can see from the stat line at the bottom, Kessler's had a productive 2023. 7 for 26 with a double, 5 walks, 2 hit by pitches, 6 runs scored, and 3 RBI. hits a grounder right back to Duffy. And that is going to be out number 2. Couple of quick outs produced by Duffy. Brookline down to their final out, and it's going to be the third baseman, number 17, Charlie Engelman. Strike 1. Engelman has been hit by a pitch twice so far today, as he fouls this one off for strike 2. Engelman 0 for 1 so far with those 2 hit by pitches and a strikeout. Brookline now down to their final strike at 0-2. And Engelman fouls it off again. Engelman hits a hard grounder, weird hop, but it is taken by White and thrown to first, and that will be the ball game. So that will be your final score. The Framingham Flyers 4, the Brookline Warriors 2. Brookline suffers their 6th straight loss and falls to 3-10 on the year. One more loss will officially eliminate Brookline from the playoffs. And that is going to do it. A hard-fought one here, but Brookline just couldn't get those extra runs they needed across, and some early fielding mistakes proved too costly to overcome. Recapping the game, in the top of the first inning, Brookline got a pair of base runners on off of walks from Keenan Sawada and Elias Brendel. Some stolen bases put them at second and third, but they left them stranded. In the bottom of the first, the fielding issues began for Brookline. The leadoff hitter, Jeremy Oren, got a single to right and advanced to second on an E9. Jace Coleman laid down an attempted sac bunt and reached on an E1 and then later stole second. And then Lucas Messer hit a bases-clearing triple to right to drive in both Oren and Coleman and make it 2-0. J.J. Blanchard hit what would have been a sac fly, but instead involved him going to second on an E9 as Messer came in to score regardless, making it 3-0. Blanchard would steal third, but then Brookline pitcher Elias Brendel settled in to get out of the jam without any further damage. In the top of the second, Brookline got one back. Avery Melton got a leadoff single, and then James Dialchin-Derrickson returned from injury as a courtesy runner. It was good to see him. He stole second, stole third, and then came home on a throwing error by the catcher as Brookline cut it to 3-1. Framingham got a run back in the bottom of the second. A walk by Tyler King and an E4 by a reach on an E4 by Jeremy Oren put runners at first and second with 2 outs, and Lucas Messer hit a pop fly that caught the wind, drifted into right field where it dropped for a single. King came in to score, but Oren was thrown out at home to end the inning. That made it 4-1 Framingham. In the top of the third, Brookline got 2 runners on, courtesy of a single by Sawada and a hit by pitch from Charlie Engelman, but they left the runners stranded. In the bottom of the third, Framingham got 1 runner on as Robbie White reached on an E6 and stole second, but he too was left stranded. Top of the fourth, Brookline got a 2-out single from Nico Hart, but he was left stranded. Bottom of the fourth, for Framingham, Noah Albright reached on an E4, and then Jace Coleman hit a 2-out double to put runners at second and third, but the runners were left stranded. In the top of the fifth, Brookline put a bit of a rally together. Started with a 1-out walk by Owen Hoffman, and then with 2 outs, hit by pitch from Charlie Engelman put 2 runners on as Connor Jernigan came through with a 2-out single to left that drove in Hoffman. making it 4-2. Ryan Kravitz drew a walk to load the bases, but those bases were left loaded with nothing further as the inning ended. Bottom of the fifth, Framingham got a couple runners on, a leadoff reach on an E4 by J.J. Blanchard, and then a walk from Robbie White put 2 runners on, but then a pop fly to center field on an attempted hit and run turned into an 8-4 double play. And while another single kept the inning going, the runners were ultimately left stranded. Top of the 6th, Brookline went down in order. Bottom of the 6th, Framingham got a 2-out walk from Jace Coleman, who would steal second but was left stranded. And then at the top of the 7th, Brookline went down in order once again to end the ball game. Thank you all so much for tuning into this live stream today. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. Remember, if you enjoyed the live stream, be sure to hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on all my upcoming live streams. I'll be back on the Baseball Diamond on Wednesday, but tomorrow evening, I'm going to be at the volleyball court at Tappan Gym in Brookline, as the Brookline High boys volleyball team will be hosting the Needham High Rockets. Be sure to stay tuned for those. Subscribe to the channel can help. If you've got anything you would like to say, again, thank you all so much for the good vibes in the live chat as always. But if you got anything you'd like to say after the live stream is over, I encourage you to say it in the comment section down below. Also go down below to the description section of the video where you can see all the information you need, website and phone number for our local charity spotlight, Brookline Food Pantry. Also check out the bottom right corner of your screen. You'll see my personal website, jessesports.com. Find out more about me, the freelance sports broadcasting services I provide to various teams, and how you can commission my services for your favorite team. Also, you can email me with any questions or requests you may have. And you can also follow me on Instagram, where I sometimes post highlights from previous live streams. But for this live stream, that is going to do it. The final score, Framingham 4, Brookline 2. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan from Bowditch Field in Framingham, Massachusetts. Thank you all for watching, and have a good night.